Say that again.
Hey, Jeff, are you? I didn't say this before, but I'm so sorry. Are you visiting Four Seasons Total Landscaping today?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am.
Fantastic.
I'm right between the fire extinguisher and the yellow hose roll.
Oh, good.
So it's exactly where
I want to buy one of their shirts since they just don't like who they endorse, but I love how they did it because you like the all the news reports I kept hearing was someone answered the phone, went presidential press conference, yeah
sure.
no
Our
problem.
parking lot is open, absolutely.
Nah, don't worry about it. Anytime you want to come down here, hey Fred, yeah.
There's now I think a 6.5 mile run that is being done from the Four Seasons to the Four Seasons Total Landscaping.
That is awesome.
Fraud Street.
They're calling it the Fraud Street.
Oh, that is so great. That is so wonderful. Apparently the porn stop had to take their phone off the hook because everyone kept calling to see if Giuliani was there.
This is not everyone politics.
Oh no,
this is politics. This is Philly local attractions.
Exactly. This is everyone friggin' PR fail.
I'm working on a program. It's top 10 things student programmers need to learn from Four Seasons Total Landscaping. Yep. Number 1, make sure your venue is booked. Should we do it?
You're right. Yes. Your music's going to run out. Go.
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemma Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just the tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back to a Alfa Saab Lancia collaboration, which was not what I wrote, and somebody took it away and put something else in here. Episode of our podcast. I know. Episode 164. And since you took the word away, now I don't even know what it is because it was the 164 chemical, and it was very long and it was awesome.
Yeah, but this is on topic. Like, this is one of the cooler cars ever made.
It's true. An Alfa 164 is.
Well, we keep talking about them. Like,
we had a lot of Alphas. And Chrissy, if you think about it, it goes back to like our earlier days when it was all elements, when we couldn't come up with something.
And it's because
cool one.
It's not just an Alfa. It's the same platform was shared between the Alfa 164, the Saab 9000, which I am a fan of, and I had 3 of them, and the Lancia SEMA, which I think it's a Thema, which at one point even had a Ferrari 308 V8 under the hood and in front-wheel drive. You could get a front-wheel drive Ferrari V8.
But was this your opening?
Body.
It wasn't. Anyway, thanks for joining us, right? Episode 164, we've made it to 164. Please get out your bingo card because chances are you might get some bingo this week. Let's move on. What you working on?
Bingo rules update a little later in the show. Stick around.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll give you some tips and tricks on how to.
We had a work weekend.
Woo!
Yep.
Should we just tell us about it?
I was going to say, do we really need to be like, Jeff, what you're working on? Because we all kind of worked on it together.
Or should we have Mental go first and then the rest of us will talk about
yeah, let's do that. Mental, you go first. What are you working on?
Ooh, okay. Hold on. I have to scroll back up to the top.
I hadn't finished writing this, so here we go.
I know. Yeah, I haven't done anything.
Don't worry, I actually have a musical interlude.
So yeah, your interlude takes too long. No, stop. Just no, quit. So I have actually been getting caught up on housework. I had part of my fence fall down, so we had to repair that and finally start gathering forth all of the finger quote leaves and palm fronds that have fallen down over the years. So just a stack of yard work has gotten done. And we had this bizarre thing happen last week where water fell from the sky. So that just threw everything
it's happening here right now.
Yeah, it hadn't happened here for over 200 days.
Did everyone freak out and run indoors? And
yes. Yeah. Oh my God! It's the end of the world.
Slide their car into the telephone pole because they don't know how to drive in the wet.
Oh no,
the tires are completely bald.
Yeah, that actually happens. They just don't drive here. They're like, oh God, no, I'll stay home. It's raining. Yeah, it's like in the South. It's snowing. I can't come to work. Oh, it's raining. I can't come to work. Oh God, stay home, please. And then I've actually been like really, really working, and then I'm packing because tomorrow I leave for Houston.
Great.
What's in Houston?
Houston is going to be the Lemons 24 Hours of Lemons MSR race, and I will be working.
That's what I wanted to say. Where I will be judging the.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about that later.
That's coming up later.
Ooh,
Someone
sorry, I didn't read ahead.
the head in the notes.
I don't read Mental's notes.
Someone never reads ahead in the notes.
No, I never read Mental's notes.
He's here before it's midnight, so that's cool too.
The Instapot lid didn't lock right, so I was dinner was a little late.
Likely story.
That's why,
That's why it goes doot when you lock it.
But it didn't. It didn't. It went through. But the gasket wasn't right there, so it never built any pressure. So it was like steaming out the side.
Thank you for tuning into this infomercial called Everyone Instapot.
Everyone.
All right,
you guys did cool stuff this weekend. Let's hear about it.
It was cool.
So
Jeff,
we took
start us off.
we took an LS and we put it in a Z.
You make it sound so easy.
It was not easy.
It was so hard.
If 0 is the starting line and 100 is the day that the car is ready to race, I'm not so sure this is 50%.
No. And that includes the fact that the car's already caged and has a seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if you count like the car prep, we're at 50%, but I don't think in the engine swap we're at 50%.
Oh, not even close. Now is the 80% of things of the fun details that make engine swaps hard.
Did you see you made the list of things you had to buy?
Oh, yeah. I know. I'm just saying it's about, so anyway, but we've also done a lot of work in a lot of things so far. So we should mention, just for those who might be new, we are putting a LS into a Z32 that's a 93 Z, 92Z. Damn it! Someday I will get that
you
right.
Bought it.
I bought it from Rednecks. It didn't matter what year it was.
Chris didn't buy it from the Rednecks, and
He
Chris
basically
knows what year it is.
He showed Chris a picture of it and says, "Is this right?" And then Chris says yes, and he was like, "Okay, I'll go get it."
No, we looked a long time to find a
You did
2.0.
It had to be a rear-wheel drive. And there was a whole jam to it.
They're all
No.
drive, but
I mean, when we decided on the 300ZX, we had to we wanted a 2.0 slick top. That was the important part. And these Rednecks had one, and it only had a little bit of lifter tick. Well, it no longer has a lifter tick because it now has a Chevy V8. It just has millions of things. So the physical motor is now physically in the engine compartment for what may be its final resting place, we hope.
4.8 liters of fury.
That's right. It is a Gen 3, Gen 2.
Gen 3.
Gen 3.
2 is an LT one.
There you go.
So,
a Gen 3 LS 4.8 out of a Silverado or some crap like that. And it is hung. The transmission is connected.
There's even a flywheel and clutch in it.
Flywheel and clutch. Do we have any accessories on it yet?
No.
When I
water
left,
pump and a crank
that's
pulley.
true. Yeah. When I left, we did not have a radiator, but from your pictures, it looks like the radiator is now installed.
Getting close.
Getting close. Okay.
Yes, I made a cross member tonight and yesterday.
We should just mention just some of the timeline of what happened, because I think it's amusing. We thought it was ready to go in, and the flywheel bolts were wrong. Chrissy, would you like to?
This was a couple weeks ago. The flywheel bolts were wrong. We didn't have any.
We
And Jeff
didn't.
said, "Oh, I'll get them. That's great." And he did. He got 2 sets. And
We opened the package, and they didn't fit, and we just pushed the lid.
Went to thread it in. Nope, that don't fit. And look at them. No, those are the old school Chevy 350 bolts. Those are freedom thread, not metric. Those aren't LS.
And it's Saturday at noon, maybe.
Right?
Yeah, about noon. When we started looking, I think. And that's the problem, is that Saturday at noon, you are losing actively the places that you can go find LS bolts, flywheel bolts, because not many places have them and many places are not open. So
let me refer everyone to episode, what was it, where I said, make sure you have all the right parts when you're
Yep.
having a work weekend.
You didn't say that, Jeff.
57?
You were not the one that said that.
You do not want to stall because one thing is missing.
Yeah, you made us stall. So Saturday was got the Macs out, we got the phones out, started calling. I started trying to sweet talk people and said, where are these bolts? Where can we find them? Chris, where did we find them?
I found them at the Buick GMC dealer a little ways away. They had them $4 a piece, whatever. The guy wasn't very friendly. I was called for bolts for my 88 Camaro, but he had them. So I'll take them. That's fine. Chrissy picked him up in the NSX with the top off because it was a gorgeous November day.
Last day we'll have to do
it was
that.
beautiful.
It's always
East on Saturday.
always wonderful when you pull up to the dealer, to a GMC dealer in your NSX with the top off. And of course, I'm in fairly dirty clothes, so that's always lovely, just wearing my work shorts. And they're like, how? It says 20-something comes over and says, how can I help you? And I was like, I'm just here for parts. And then they say, oh, have you gotten your GMC serviced here before? And I was like, no, it's for something else. And he was like, but it's for this Camaro.
Listen, kid. I'm here to buy some parts for my race car. I'm going to need you to shut up.
Well, no, he's like, I saw a car. I saw a white one at a car show once, and it was awesome. And I was like, you're so cute.
Get out of the way and point me to the parts counter.
Right? No, he walked me to the parts counter because he didn't have anything else to do. Anyway, so that was great. That was a highlight.
So we had the engine in and out and in and out. We figured out, oh, you know what? It's not going to fit without taking the trans out, because we went to put it in and it was a couple inches off from even possibly being able to line up with the trans. So
Yeah,
trans comes out.
The cross member with the power steering pump is the immovable object.
Power steering
rack. Excuse me, not the pump. Yeah, that is the immovable object. It is right in the middle of our highly modified oil pan, and there's no way to make oil pan go through the same space as the power steering rack.
So we ended up giving the trans tunnel some percussive maintenance and hitting it with the jack and a few things to try to make it bigger.
And then it went right in, right, Chris?
No, it certainly did not. In the
About as far as
Well-
we got on Saturday.
no, this is Sunday, because we were Sunday. Jeff and I were. Jeff was
Right.
cutting the cross member out of the front, because it was all hella bent, and we knew that we needed to move the radiator forward. So we're cutting all the a lot of the core support away to get the radiator to go forward. While Jeff was doing this, I was installing an electric trailer tongue jack in the trailer, which is wonderful, by the way. If you do not have an electric trailer tongue jack,
I do not have an
recommend it.
electric trailer jack. I need one of those.
Nice. Because mine had the ball bearings had kind of broken, so it was really, really, really hard to use. But now you just hit a switch. It's really nice.
It's on the list of when the trailer gets gutted this winter. Well, I'll say next month. Yeah.
This one is a top tip. It was an Ultra Fab refurbished one that I got on Amazon. It was like $68 shipped instead of like 100 and something for the Harbor Freight one even. So top tip. Anyway, motor had to go in and out several times, and the only way we could finally get it in the end was by removing the power steering rack entirely. And then we could put the motor in. Then we have to just keep the motor as far up as it can go on the hoist or a jack and slide the steering rack in from the driver's side through the gap to the passenger side that it just barely fits. And then it goes in. So fortunately, it didn't have any fluid in it because that had all spurted all over the driveway already. So it's a lot easier.
Yeah. So the whole thing, there's this giant connective tissue in the middle of our engine compartment. And there is just no way to get the motor in around it. We had to literally start at the driver's side and punch it through the 4-inch by 4-inch hole that was created.
I think in the future we may consider trying to drop the entire subframe and suspension out.
Probably.
To do this.
Yeah.
I was really trying to hope to find a way that we could avoid doing that. But the amount of work that this took is really, really much more work than that would be, especially once we've been in the suspension and loosened everything up, and the bolts are all free and stuff.
Once it's ready, everything's loose.
So at that point, if you think about race side or paddock, you're not even going to be dropping the motor out, you're going to be lifting the body up and over.
Kinda, but only part of it's going to be coming off. Anyway, it's going to be, if the motor blows at the track, we are going to start drinking beer because we are not.
And pack up and
Yep.
go home.
Well, we won't go home, but we'll pack and drink and watch other people and stuff. But we are
we hopefully
definitely
won't
not
have to do
changing
that.
motor at the track. N-O. Yeah,
Oh.
and I've been making a cross member since because Jeff hacked the original front cross member out because we need rubber for the radiator and because the rednecks who used to hoon this thing around had already bent it the hell up. So now we're making a tubular one that bolts into where the tow hooks used to be on each side. And anyway, made these big plates and drilled a hole for the roll cage tubing to go through it now. And this also locates they're called the tension rods. They're like the fore aft locating members of the lower control arms of the front. So welded tabs on with welded nuts to those. So that's holding in place. So we're just about ready to weld the radiator supports on. And then that'll be in. Yeah.
Woo!
I think that's update to where we are.
Yeah, that's it. Oh,
Pretty much.
I finished a room of flooring.
Oh, that's great.
Yay.
Which
So,
room?
A dining room. So now we moved all
Oh,
the living
like a
room
real-
furniture
Okay.
to the dining room, and now I get to do the living room, which also has like the stairs. What is that? Like a balcony stair
Yeah,
thing?
it's a center entry split level-ish.
Yeah.
give
So
it
I get to
perspective.
rip the railing off the steps. So who's gonna fall first? A dog,
A
a
dog.
kid, the
A dog.
wife, or me?
Dog.
Yeah.
It's going to come up real fast and not be able and slide on the hardwood because it can't stop. Yeah.
It's a kind of it's probably 5 feet down though, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a full half flight of
On the
stairs.
tile.
But every pet owning hardwood floor knows the sounds of
Yeah.
Oh no.
There it is.
when they
That's where we're at.
overshoot it. Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
All right. Is it news and notes time, or we cover everything?
Yes, it is.
News and notes.
The well-established, long-running Keith Code Superbike School has officially severed all ties with Laguna Seca or WeatherTech at Laguna Seca, whatever it's called. Micah Gorgas writes over at Road Racing World that the California Superbike School has canceled its final event at WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna. Sources cite difficulty with the circuit's new management and a deteriorating track surface. Now, there's various issues that have cropped up over the months that are points of contention between the school. And we're not going to throw this out there. We're not everyone riders. I think Chris and I are the only bikers on this one.
Hey,
But-
Chrissy has her license too.
Chrissy, yes. So the issues are going to affect other events. The track has instituted a $5,000 priority day fee charged to any organization, which several of our organizations run that track, that wants a particular date on the calendar. The entire calendar was wiped clean. So folks that have like their long-standing dates, like Lucky Dog or Champ Car, they could no longer count on those traditional dates that they'd operated on for years, which is how we had Kathy on years ago, how the sausage is made of, the whole negotiation part of building your schedule. So that screws everybody. And the repave has been further delayed due to the pandemic. Now, we got a link to the whole article in our show notes, but I think this is going to have a cascading effect, and it will affect only one of the people on the screen right now. But there's some racing out here on the West Coast that is going to get affected, and how they handle it, I think, also is going to be really the playbook for several of the tracks that are under new management right now. You've got NOLA that is operating still same ownership, but they're struggling with management. C&P is under new management. Laguna Seca is under new management. I'm sure there's a few that I'm missing, and they're trying to come in and play hardball with a bunch of organizations that are itching to race because they think they hold all the cards. And there's a whole lot of racetracks out there that will just be happy to please come spend money with us.
Now, isn't Laguna owned by like the county or have some sort of board?
They yes, and I think I'm not smart enough to understand all the legalese with it, but it goes down to some sort of interim agreement, and the whole community around Laguna hates Laguna because they hate freedom and they hate awesome.
Which there's no one ever close to that track.
No, but
I mean,
the
like, you have to
property
drive one-
values around that track are
I
probably
guess.
higher than any other like track in America.
The other
But-
trailer parks that are like it's
Yeah.
The trailer parks are worth more than my house out there. Come on now.
But still, you move next to a flipping race car track. All right, just suck it up.
it's been there for a long time.
Been there for a very long time. Absolutely.
Exactly. One of the but this is it's going to be something I think as racers we're going to have to watch. Altamont went down this path, and there's a whole variety of just nasty characters that got involved on both sides of that argument. But there is no more Altamont, and that was also a historic track, not Laguna Seca level of historic, but so
It's not necessarily historic for racetrack reasons either.
fair. Fair.
Look, one
yeah.
goat.
One go.
You
Guys, did we say
you,
that this week?
you
So-
kill one hippie.
Yeah.
Kill one hippie, but if
Hire just
you're
one
on-
motorcycle gang for security.
Yeah, hire one motorcycle
We're
gang
at
for
the end of
security.
it.
But if you've never run Laguna and you've been thinking about going out there doing a track day, or you've got something that you see on the schedule is going to work with yours, you might want to go ahead and check that one off your box, off the bucket list. And all of us have run Laguna Seca. I still say it's worth it. And you need to do the corkscrew to say you did the corkscrew, but that's not the most entertaining corner on the track. But if you're on that list to do Laguna,
Do
you
it.
might want to check it off now.
Yeah,
'cause
do it.
This
Do it
time
before it
next
goes
year,
away.
yeah, might
It's
be
fun.
a different story.
Cool.
Yep. So in Tesla news that only Mental cares about, Elon Musk has finally released their Tesla Tequila, 100% the agave Highland Lowland blend based on April Fool's Day joke from 2 years ago. The añejo is made for sipping and aged for 15 months in French oak barrels. And as Steph Schrader writes in the drive, it features a dry fruit and light vanilla nose with a balanced cinnamon pepper finish. Wonder where Steph read that. Anyway, well, we're never going to know because it's $250 a bottle, limited production, already sold out. So link to the article and the order page is in our show notes, but the order page isn't going to do you much good. So
It's like the flamethrower. You know
It
what I
was
mean?
like I was
just
just
as soon
gonna
as
say
everybody
that.
learns they making flamethrowers, they're already sold out.
I know. I wanted one. Okay.
Yep.
All right. We're talking about the wedge. Remember the wedge?
The
Talked
wedge
about it last
salad.
week.
I
It's one
love
of-
wedge salad.
Ew, I don't like it. It's iceberg. Nobody likes iceberg. It's what is one of the off GM engineer created freak show that won the Root Sucky Suck Lemons Rally. It's for sale for $2,500 or 10 Tesla tequilas. You can own a '63 Pontiac Tempest base. Are we? Is this a sale? Nobody wants to buy a '63 Pontiac Tempest.
It's not
based-
60, it's based on it. That's what it was. built
Okay,
Yeah.
Route 66 veteran.
that is the crashed car he had there at the time. He had a crashed car and a straight edge. And it said, I'm going to build a car.
All right, so it's covered over 5,000 miles. It averaged 17 miles a gallon with 215 215 V8. It is all steel creation. For those who are not watching on YouTube, it's a two-seater that's 140 inches long. It's just under 2 Chris's, and it's over 1 mental wide at 76 inches and 3/4 of a Jeff at 54 inches. I didn't write it.
I'm like saying, who wrote this copy?
It does leak
I had to
transmission.
be at work
and
really early all last week, and I was drinking coffee.
It leaks from the transmission and engine, which makes our audience the perfect demographic, except for the money. That's a lot of money. Link to the Craigslist ad is in our show notes. It's worth mentioning that the car is less than an 8-hour drive from Las Vegas, where flights are cheap and Mental will give you a ride to get it. the
And
post is
It's in
Already
Tuscan, right?
deleted.
It's already
Oh.
gone.
So he sold it. Oh man.
Well, I should have checked this before we.
That's why I wrote at the end, see old post already
Well,
deleted.
Yeah, but you
have.
can't write it in her color because then none of
I
the
didn't
rest of
know
us-
it. You should have wrote it at the top. Anyway,
Sorry.
somebody already bought it or they took it down. You
Yeah.
can't have the wedge. Bye.
It's fine. All of you lemons people out there who are trying to figure out how to hot swap a battery so that you can win the $10,000 nickels, whatever the hell it is. $50,000, 10,000 pounds of nickels or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, your crashed Riven is in your future. Riven just got the patent for a removable bed-mounted hot swappable battery pack. They applied about a year ago, so this has been in discussion for a while, but it looks like it is definitely going to happen. They just received the patent, so the Riven truck is going to have a regular battery and then a range extendable, hot swappable bed mounted battery pack. Go, Mental.
Also, now, isn't that what the new electric Hummer is based on? And Chrissy, I see that. You're absolutely right. Got it. Got you covered.
I don't
Oh.
remember if it's Riven or Lordstown or
I thought it was Lordstown that with
this
the
is the
Hummer
GM
was,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
because
Or
the Riven
Nikola,
is
but Nikola is like bankrupt.
they're all
kind of
bankrupt. I mean,
Yeah,
the
that's true.
Riven has I have as much chance of like becoming governor of the state of New Jersey than like Riven has producing more than 10 trucks. Let's be honest.
They seem like
You
they're
know, Jeff,
doing better than the other ones.
if you stopped eating right and quit being a moral person who cares about people, that governor thing could happen.
It could happen. It could happen.
Yep. Okay. Great.
Upcoming races, go.
Brace yourself, fools. Mental is going to be at Lemons at MSR Houston. Somehow they've left Mental and Sajeev in charge. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know if that's a triumphant or sad trombone. You can't tell. It's always sad.
I was
when
going
Jeff
for
does it.
triumphant.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, sorry for y'all that you get it, and I threw that y'all in because you're Texas. Mental will be accepting bribes of alcohol. Rona be damned. So just wipe it off with a hand sanitizer before you give it to them, and then everyone's happy. If you give them anything that says Jove Cuervo and isn't 100% agave, you're going to get penalty laps. Just throwing that out there. White Claws also work because he is a very sensitive fellow.
Nothing wrong with White Claws.
No, that's fine. And hey, as Team Lowball with their 2 AMCs already asked in our text line, that's it. So smart move by them. But really, guys, it's AMCs. You're fine. Just don't give them Cuervo. Anyway, 102 cars. 18 of those are boring ass BMWs, which are
Boring.
Boring.
You said boring ass. I didn't know.
yeah. Still, the boring is it's funnier. 10 Miatas, 8 Hondas, including a Fit.
Ooh, a Fit.
5 Porsches and a Corvair.
Mm.
Yeah.
The Corvair will probably be more than half the Porsches.
Probably. And I think
That's a hot
12 of
take
the
from
18
Jeff.
boring ass, 12 of the 18 boring ass BMWs, I think, are Ginger Race Team, who has, I think, 8 cars entered in this race.
Yes. Sneaky bastards. So
You can be sure to hassle them while there. Excellent.
Yes. All right. So
Recent
move on.
results.
Champ Car ran the Bell Racing Sebring of 14 at, of course, Sebring. 95 cars, 30 boring ass BMWs, 20 boring. 3 Hondas and 7 Porsches. Now, first was MK Motorsports and a 93 Cobra. Team Saline took second and third with their mustard and ketchup Boxsters, which I'm sure, parts that just fall off of their IMSA Caymans end up on there. But the Champ Car guys are known for being sticklers in impound. So somehow they did. And what's interesting is they're not even running those 2 Boxsters aren't even running the top class. They're 1 class below the 5 classes. Now our buddy Dr. Florida Man blew up after a mere 6 laps in the Florida Man Motorsports Mustang, earning them the bottom of the EC class field. And just 8 laps later, our buddies Tyler Trevor and the rest of the Kingpin Racing crew did exactly the same in their Miata, which put them at the bottom of the regular class. Stranger Ranger
Our friends are really good. Uh-huh.
I'm surprised that Donnie was in something built by the Ford Motor Company.
He shares a garage with Florida Man Motorsports.
Oh.
So he so there's like early morning, I think he'd already started drinking. Stranger Ranger and a Ford Ranger finished 43rd, which out of a field of 75 cars is commendable, especially at Sebring. Fat Cracks Accord was 19th overall and picked up some new character marks at 2 different locations for a pair of overdriven Miatas. And Never Start Racing John Artman's mold adhered Dodge Neon was 41st.
Nice. We have some listener feedback on the YouTubes, which is a social media in itself. James Mulhern was discussing my my decision on whether or not to jump to the I can't remember the name of it.
TikTok.
Thank you. And he said, purging your social media is totally worth it. AJ said, I'm not on TikTok, but I'm incredibly familiar with ValveTik. So that's a definite bonus. And they're the better half of the Wakeman brothers, the taller half, the more follicled half of the Wakeman brothers.
Slightly more punctual.
Slightly more punctual
Sometimes.
I'm
Sometimes.
just gonna say.
Well, then
Um,
when the two of you together, it's the Wakeman multiplication factor. which
That's
makes
true.
every-
The other half of the General Wakeman problems, he asked a brilliant question, and I think we should turn this into a quick around the horn and get everyone's opinion. He's playing bingo and he is watching the show on YouTube so he can see what's behind me and what's behind Chrissy and everything.
What is behind you right now, Jeff?
We already mentioned this because it was already in the recording.
Oh, I didn't know if we
It's-
were recording.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It is Four Seasons, not the hotel, total landscaping. But anyway, so he has on his bingo card, Jeff is bald, and he can see that I am bald. So does that count for the square? Also, he has Mental's hair, and Mental is here, so we can see how good Mental's hair is. Does any of this count, or do we have to actually say the word Mental's hair and Jeff is bald to get the square? I'll give you all a moment to think.
Pour one out for Alex Trebek.
Fact.
Mental.
Yes. So I am going to pour a little out for Alex Trebek, but on that one, I feel like Jeff is bald. Just seeing it doesn't count because you will show up with a hat. So we have to reference it for some reason, which you do quite often, which is how it ended up on the bingo card. And I'm going to go the same with my hair. Everyone knows my hair is awesome. I mean, come on.
There's a bit of an extension. He says, sometimes the lens will flare because of the shininess of my dome. And frequently you will like lavish the hair. You'll like do one of these like, oh,
but at
wave
the
your
same
fingers
time,
through it.
sometimes Chris pulls the Homer Simpson disappears into the bush thing into an NSX video as he leans back. So
And that doesn't count as an NSX. So we have to
Correct.
verbally say it.
because also we have to think of our listeners, not just our viewers.
All right, we have one for no. Chrissy, doesn't count.
I think I'm going with no. I think with what Mental said. I think the idea of it where we started was that we're talking about just how darn bald you are, and you can use that spot now because I said it. He is bald.
Well, I said it earlier also.
I'm agreeing and I'm noting it. Oh my God, I'm
to-
blinded! I'm blinded!
I don't want to
switched
disadvantage
Go ahead.
the people who enjoyed, well, I won't say enjoyed the show, who
Listen,
listen to the show on our original media platform of podcast. I don't want to disadvantage our OSGist listeners, all 10 of them, by giving the YouTube watchers an advantage in the bingo card.
so because it is an unfair advantage, you are also going no.
Yes.
Awesome. No meaning yes. I understand this. It's like Clue. I'm also going no, and this is the reason I'm going no. Because it's not a free spot. There's only one free spot, and it's Chrissy's mom. Hi, Chrissy's mom. And I
No,
think
it's
there's only
not.
been
It's
like one show where we didn't say hi to Chrissy's mom.
That's not the free spot.
There
But-
is an actual free
There is
spot.
an actual free spot. I'm aware of that, but I'm saying
I think you mean guaranteed.
like guaranteed. There's
Okay.
but nothing is guaranteed because we've even forgotten that.
Yes. Okay,
Who
let's
else
move
has
on.
listener feedback?
Okay. So we posted some what you're working on over the last week or so. Eric K has played in a neighborhood concert with a Halloween theme and then had a party around the fire pit. So that's pretty nice. Then he started disassembly of a 66 bug for a 12 volt conversion because he just won't stop working on air-cooled Volkswagens for people. Corey test drove his newest Lemons product to get beer at the tap room and then a burrito. It's a good first drive in traffic, and then you can christen the seats later on after you have your beer and burrito. Thomas P is making cookies. Pembus face cat cookie.
I don't know what that is. I have no idea.
Okay, fine.
he had a Pembus face cat cookie. He posted it on our Facebook. It was actually a very cute cat.
What
cookie.
is a Pembus cat? A Pembus face?
It was a
I'm
picture
googling.
a picture of it. Don't Google. Just go to our Facebook.
I just assume it's one of those cats that their face looks like a dick, but who knows?
There you go.
Anyway, Randy B was working on a beater fleet refresh and thinking of cutting some old beaters loose. I'd recommend it. Simplify it and add lightness there in your fleet. Okay.
Yeah.
E1R race. We got
So
dirty.
Yes, we did. We talked about it. We were going to use Aussie cars, and I managed to make the wrong choice all night. So first I went with the truck, and it was great until everyone passed me because everyone else went with Beetles. Few people
Pro
ran
2
it.
truck. Yeah.
Right, the Pro 2 truck. Few people actually ran out of gas on the last lap. That was hilarious. And Santiago humiliated everybody.
Everybody.
In a friggin' Aussie supercar. So I thought, oh, well, then for the second race, I'll go Aussie supercar. And I think if you go dead last and then 4 spots down, that's where I finished. It was just god awful all the way across.
So I put the Aussie supercar in there because you wanted to have everyone in those, and I said no, it's going to be so bad. But I said, all right, well, we'll let Mental see how bad it is, and yep. But the Beatles are
I'm saying, but Tyler and Santiago, because they're aliens, did great in the Aussie supercars, and then they went into the Beatles, and it was
They destroyed us.
Yeah. Well, Santiago's a rally driver with a rear drive car. He's used to doing that.
Yeah.
True.
And
And
an alien in iRacing. I mean, let's not forget.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, absolutely is. And for those who might be concerned about dipping your toe in, Eric came back, and it was the first time he had been iRacing in months, and he's as bad as the rest.
Oh, and
of
if
us.
Jeff shows up, you're all good.
terrible.
Yeah, but the thing about it is both like with some of these iRacing leagues, Uncle Dave's in several like finger quote professional racing leagues, and so is Tom Lamino, and the cutthroat attitude of some of those people is just absolutely ridiculous. You show up at an E1R race, and as he is crushing you, Santiago will be like, oh, here, tap, tap, tap on his keyboard. Here's my setup. Oh, here, do this. Oh, you should really try and do this with your pedals as you come to this corner. So you're going to get crushed, but you're going to learn something while you're there. So if you're interested in any of that, you should get a hold of us on any of our social medias. We'll give you the Discord link, which is 90% of the fun. How many times has Hamza just not raced and sat there and talked with us the whole time while he's waiting for his computer to update?
He drank bourbon too.
He drank bourbon. and we'll also get you the password into the races, because you're going to want to do it this Monday. That's right, folks. It's all America all the time. We're driving Camaro street stocks at Charlotte. Now, Uncle Dave.
Current Charlotte, right?
Current Charlotte.
Or maybe Legacy, whatever the free one is. We're trying to keep it free most of the time if we can.
Now, Uncle Dave, he's built a setup, and he's going to standardize that setup across the board. We all going to be running the same setup.
I think it's the one that it comes with. That's what he's doing.
But it's the one that is but I think it is the Charlotte setup.
The Charlotte setup.
The Charlotte setup, yeah.
All right. That's going to be fun. I think the last time we all ran the same thing is when we all ran the 87s at Daytona. Legacy Daytona. And the next day we all thought we'd done a friggin' CrossFit class because our abs hurt so bad from laughing. This is going to be a good time on that one. Yeah. If you're thinking about joining iRacing and joining us on iRacing, Monday nights, at 9 and 10 p.m. Eastern time, 6 and 7 Pacific. Join us, get a hold of us on social media. We'll give you the password, give you the Discord. You're going to have fun. You're not going to do well unless your name is Santiago, but you're going to,
but nobody does
weird.
Well. Nobody does well.
No, well, yeah.
Or
but
Slovene or
Slovene, Stank. But it's you're going to have a great time.
Yeah. You know who else is going to have a great time?
Not iRacing.
Chrissy's mom.
Yep.
And dad.
Yep.
I only have one banana cookie left.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you enjoyed said banana
I
cookies.
do like the banana cookies.
That is good. Hi, Mom. So everybody get the bingo card. Okay. Main topic time. Okay.
I love how that goes.
Well, yeah, I was trying to not blow out people's ears. Okay. This week, we're talking SEMA. So last week, we should have been spending our evenings in the hot tub and running the halls of the Las Vegas Convention Center all darn day.
So many things I loved about that SEMA trip that I really missed this year,
Seriously.
including Vicky's food, by the way.
I didn't even mention that.
The
I know.
enchiladas.
I know. All right. So we were recently reminiscing of our first encounter of the overwhelming thing that was SEMA when it was real life. So last year we felt like we crashed the opening breakfast where it was like this beautiful spread in this the biggest room. I mean, there was thousands of people getting an awesome spread of breakfast in this room. And I'm pretty sure we stole leftover. We took put some leftovers. We didn't steal anything.
You're going to eat that French toast?
I definitely stole a bottle of Tabasco sauce right off the table. I'm
off
pretty
to
sure
each
I
other.
still have it.
I was like, I have French toast. You want to put it in your pocket? He's like, put it in a napkin. We're going. Yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, but we just didn't feel like we belonged in the place, and it was one of those things where we there was something happening on stage, and we just clapped every once in a while. Oh, good. Oh, AMB Garage won for something. Oh, good. Yeah.
Oh, best packaging. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
hey, can I have some more coffee over here? Thanks.
And it's like I was like squinting, going, I think that's Jay Leno.
Yeah.
He's in a denim tuxedo. It must be.
All right, Meltono's hand it's up first.
And maybe my memory's gotten a little clouded, but if I'm not mistaken,
tequila.
yeah, you guys were running a little late because your driver was late dropping you off that morning because he had to
We
go
were
to work.
literally the first
Also-
people.
And didn't
in.
you guys but didn't you end up like at the front by accident because nobody wanted to go up front? And you guys were like, all right, well, screw it, we'll go up front.
No,
No,
we were
we
kind
Okay.
slid in the
all right.
back.
We slid in the
All
back.
right.
It
We were
wasn't
late
that
'cause
we
I
were
injured
late.
my back, and I was walking at about
Yeah.
2 miles an hour while
forgot.
It
Oh
wasn't
God,
that we
I
were
forgot
late.
about that.
Yeah.
That's right.
eating Advil like
Crap.
Tic Tacs.
So this
Luckily, we had tequila in a hot tub because I
Yeah.
think by the end of
Yeah.
the week.
I felt no pain that night.
yeah, so this breakfast was open to everybody. Like we didn't actually sneak in,
Absolutely.
but
Oh, we had legitimate.
We signed
credentials.
up for
we
it.
were
we
signed up
signed
for it.
up.
But we were like 75% back in the crowd. Like that was probably what it was. It was just so many people that we kind of like everybody kind of rushed in and they were like they knew what they were doing. So it was like, well, we have 12 people on our marketing team, so we're going to take all 12 of these seats. And we were like, "Hi, got 3? Got 3? Oh, there's 3. Jump in."
And then we were just excited. And of course, it was just such the high for being there. I think we
And-
probably could have been there early, but the place is just so darn
So
huge,
huge.
that we
And-
were
and-
trying to figure out on the map where the heck we are.
And when you have a 7-person marketing team and there are 10 seats at the table, which are the 3 that you leave out? The 3 with the back to the stage. So we're like staring at the exits going, what's going on behind us? I can't. Hold on a minute.
You know what? We could see the prompter
You can see
better
the
than we
prompter.
could see. I was reading the prompter over on the wall because you could see that better on like the big ass screen that's in the middle of the room. We could see that better than the screen. Okay, anyway, this is not why we're talking about SEMA.
About this year's SEMA.
It's more of just a fun thing that we decided that we did. Okay, so now obviously Rona equals no SEMA in person, but there is the show looked a little bit different, but they were just as happy to take us because some of us, 3 of 4 of us, you can guess which one didn't, applied, and they didn't even question how legit they were. So we just said, we're going to take this. And they're like, haha, these people are back again. They're so dumb. Okay. So the air quotes show opened on Monday. This was last Monday at 7 a.m. As you logged in, you landed on this really nice looking dashboard with this whole, the left side had all these options for where you're looking at. You want to go builders, cars, you want education, products, market space, all that other stuff. So it was a nice place to be. That we'll start there. So we're going to jump right into some things that we found interesting. So we will start with, so the opening speech with Tanner Faust and Mike Rowe. We were excited to watch it. Did we see it? No.
Oh,
Read a whole bunch of stuff here. Do you want to read it?
and this is I wasn't able to fully leverage my time with you guys last year because I just started a new job and I didn't have time off. And then this time I had to be at work for some virtual online training, so luckily I've got 2 screens, so I could do like one, but I completely missed the opening with Tanner and Mike Rowe. I did actually see the Jay Leno, who is the SEMA ambassador,
yeah, he's
and
everywhere.
Mike Spagnolia, the senior vice president of the original equipment manufacturer regulations. They talked about last year, and they talked about next year, as well as they threw in like the new Dodge TRX, which is frigging awesome and is a natural marriage of a Hellcat and a Dodge Ram.
Hell yeah,
And-
America.
Hell yeah. And then, of course, the new Bronco, which we were predicting before SEMA got canceled, was going to be the new Supra. Ding, ding.
oh, it'll just be next year. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, I don't think there's enough out yet. You know, I'll hold this
think-
for later, but I think if we would have actually been there, the ding would have been Jeep Gladiators.
Agreed.
Because as I perused,
They're not
through the
actually making
builders-
Broncos yet,
Yeah.
except the couple
True,
they hand
true.
built.
As I perused the stuff that I was looking at in SEMA, a lot of Gladiators.
And I think SEMA did a really good job of leveraging Mike and Tanner. Both of them are just great ambassadors. Anybody that says, "Oh my God, Mike Rowe, I can't stand that guy," I just need you to go ahead and socially distance. No, a little bit farther. No, a little bit farther. I can still hear anybody that says you don't like Mike Rowe. Just stop listening to our show.
Yeah.
And I like Tanner Faust. I can understand why some people don't like him. You're just wrong. But Tanner got to do the Battle of the Builders. And I don't know if you guys got to see that. And it was cool, but you lost something. And we'll talk about that more in a second. The video just kind of lacked the hype because obviously you just didn't have the crowd when they were introducing all that kind of stuff. But if you watch Tanner Faust on his Instagram, he was doing a great job of balancing his personal Instagram, what he thought was cool for his followers versus what he needed to promote for SEMA. So it was an interesting balance between the two of them because at his core, Tanner is a gearhead and he would show cool gearhead stuff on his Instagram. And then, hey, this is some really great SEMA stuff on the SEMA versions of it. The winner of the Battle of the Builds was a guy named Brandy Randweiler in his 63 Chevy custom two-door wagon. It's amazing. And I really wanted to see Chip Foos's Jaguar E-Type up close because he chose the non-cool E-Type, the Series 2, but I think the version of it is gorgeous. And again, on Tanner Faust, Tanner showed him bringing it into the little arena and backing it into there, and you got to hear it drive and run, and it looks amazing. But it goes back to, I do think that coronavirus is going to change a lot of things about our hobby, about how we interface. I think the virtual drivers meetings for all of our series are brilliant. I think hard tech times are brilliant. I think the way that they're doing gear tech is awesome. But for SEMA, part of the joy was just seeing these builds. When you see them in person, particularly that guy, Brandy, his 63 custom two-door coupe, it's black. As anyone who's ever done any paint or bodywork knows, black is the hardest color because you have to be perfect. And then you throw that on a 63 Chevy where there are just vast expanses of fender that if they are not perfectly smooth, black is going to highlight the slightest irregularity.
And it wasn't straight to begin with.
Exactly. When they built it, yes, you're absolutely right. I want to see that in person. I want to see that absolute. And if he won Battle of the Builders, I guarantee you that reflection is perfect all the way down. But I can only see so much, even on a big screen TV, that you're just not going to get in person. Yeah. So
I'm with you there. I hate to jump to what I was going to mention later, but it's there's you definitely lose something. And we talked about this before when we talked about virtual car shows. You know, I can see cars on Instagram any day, any second. They're all going to be amazing, but it is really, really hard to really look at a very high custom car and understand what it is. You mentioned in the thing, the RX-3.
Yes.
Is the red.
I want to just interject this and you go back to you. Some really interesting oddball choices in addition to Chip Fuse's Series 2 Jaguar, because most people don't like the Series 2 E-Types. I think it's gorgeous. Google it.
The Series 2s are okay. The Series 3 is when it really starts to get a little over the hill.
Right. But there were some unusual choices for the Battle of the Builds, and it was a Mazda RX-3 and a 71 Ford Ranchero. Please continue, Jeff.
I was going to say, it's actually only the front clip of an RX-3. It's an RX-7 under there. It's an FD RX-7, and it's a four-rotor. And I watched the guy's build diary, and I was like, this thing is amazing. But the pictures, I didn't get it from the pictures. I only got it from watching the YouTube video where he described it. And I think that's really where you can lose what it is that you're really seeing. And I can't wait for it to be in real life again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true. There's some things that the details really only show when you see it. Like, remember the red caddy last year and the PPG booth, like the giant candy apple caddy?
Yeah.
But there are so many incredible little details on that, but they were not over the top. They were subtle, and that's what made that car interesting. But you can't see those in the pictures.
All right, ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if you had all your cars done.
I'm actually going to show a picture of the RX-3 in 10 seconds.
Oh, and while you're at it, why don't you just
If you
go
want
ahead and
to.
enable screen sharing, since like literally every time.
Okay, yes, we could do that in 1 second. Let me just get the 1.3 on the
This is
top
great
screen.
podcast.
Don't worry, it'll be there in
Oh,
one
yeah.
second.
Hi, podcast
Yeah.
land. We're really good at this game. And then when you show the car, people in
But
podcast land can't see it.
should someone from SEMA actually made it this far, we would like to thank
won't.
you for access to the program, and we look forward to covering next year.
We'll tell them
Absolutely.
that this episode
Totally.
was about SEMA.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Come
Wow.
on.
Okay, there we go. All right, so
That is
yes,
an RX-7.
Oh, yeah, you
And
can see
again-
the greenhouse and doors are clearly FDRX7.
But look at the fender flares. Look at the way this does not translate very well to the internet. This thing is probably amazeballs. I
There's
was
no doubt.
tremendously impressed. Every time they panned across it, I was like, I want to look inside the little hole in the fender flare. I want to see what's behind that. I want to look at
Yeah.
that carbon fiber. Can't do it.
For our listeners, Google Todd Booty, Buddee, and a 93 Mazda RX-7 FDS3. And it's from the Battle of the Builds. It's worth the Google.
Yeah.
But
it
Jeff,
absolutely
you're
is.
100% right. I want to see that car.
Awesome. Let's see. Go on. What else are we talking about?
Next year. Okay, so I enjoyed, so we're going to talk about the education. So last year I really enjoyed the sessions we went to, and I tried to check them out first because it was kind of easy to look through the list and figure out what was going to be available. So Tanner and Cletus, which are some drifters, they were advertising Optima batteries, and it was actually a fine video. And this is where I think we were going to talk about a little bit that the videos that had the speaker in front of at a track or in front of the truck, or they were outside, so it made it look like it was a little more legit than some of the other things some of the other videos that you saw that didn't look very real or interesting for that matter. So I like this, and this is kind of choppy, but Tanner had this quote that I wanted to write down, is that people have cars for fashion. It says something about the people's personality, and sometimes they're just for function. But at SEMA, you see all of them and then some, and then for some of these, you just wonder if the car is a trailer queen or it gets out there. So that was a fine video that I saw, but it was kind of take it or leave it.
I'm sorry, I missed that because I'm a big Cletus fan.
I know. I was telling you I was watching it, and then you were saying I'm busy.
I was at work. And,
At
well,
home.
well, this is the thing. If I was going to SEMA, I would have taken the week off.
Right.
Completely.
I'm not taking time off from work to watch videos online. And silly me, I thought they would be available later. So I was like literally in a meeting with my vice president, and like I would get an email. Your ed session starts in 10 minutes.
Yes. And the same thing, which I think for what they were trying to do from an organization and a presentation standpoint, SEMA had it down. If I was a full-time journalist and I had gotten up and sat down, I would have not missed anything.
Absolutely.
It
This
not
year or
being-
last year?
This year.
Okay.
But like, if it was meat space, actually, yeah, you bring up a good point, Chrissy, because in meat space, sometimes stuff that we had signed up for was literally on the other side of the convention
Planet.
center,
Yeah, you couldn't
which
get
is,
to it.
which is, I do not exaggerate, 1.5 miles walking through crowds.
There was so much stuff that we missed because we couldn't get to everything
Yes.
in meat space.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you were going to make a point.
Well, I was saying I disagree this year. So I really did try to go through the education. That was one of those things on, I don't know if it was Sunday night or Monday night. I was sitting here and I was just looking through the list of things that were available. And since we got something, we went to an Instagram, we went to a Facebook, Chris went to a racing panel, and like there were things that we actually walked away with notes, and we stood at lunch and we're going through notes and be like, oh, we found this stuff. Let's do this. And we got stuff out of it. This year, I went to 2 different classes, and they were YouTube already, they basically looked like they were already taped YouTube videos, and they posted them. And the reason they had a time connected to it was so the person that was speaking could be available to have like a boardroom, with my air quotes, boardroom or round tables, and answer questions at the end. So basically you could stop, start, and you could say like watch later, and you couldn't find them later. But I have two of them that I watch. So one of them was Earning Her Business. And I was hoping to get something that might be relatable to anything that we do. It didn't at all. But she started out with some stats about how women make all the sales decisions, but men or companies, I'm going to put them both together, don't really actually think about the woman that's trying to actually sell exactly to the women. So did you know that you can't fit all women into one box?
Oh. I
Really
thought women were the same.
You should really understand their needs, fears, and goals at every stage of life. Overall,
It's such a shame when you go to something with experts and you're like, they're so basic.
Why is fears listed as a marketing point?
well, I guess it's so that, if you're buying I think a lot of it was buying a car was kind of like, she didn't say that. And it was kind of like, if whatever you're doing or whatever you're selling,
Interesting.
you're thinking about the woman. And I'm just like, so overall, it was a nice idea. But like anybody that went to that was like, yeah, we never think about women. I hope somebody listened, but I don't think it was nothing earth shattering. I'll say that. Yes.
And that
Go ahead, Bethel.
That contrast, because some of the seminars that we attended in groups, and I think like Chris, you went to the Racers panel.
Mm-hmm.
What would be interesting about the discussion is how it would take shape by the crowd, by the questions. A couple of the seminars last year, we sat literally on the floor drinking beer.
Yes.
And listening to Aaron Kaufman and some of those people. Yep. And somebody asked a question about electric vehicles, and Kaufman went off tirade.
Slowly I turned.
Let
me tell you about electrical vehicles.
But the thing of it is Kaufman is a smart guy, and it was an interesting tirade, and it was full of tidbits. So
obviously it was so good that we remembered it because that happened.
That's very compelling. You're absolutely right. And so you lose the kind of spontaneity that these discussion panels can take on when you pre-record them, or, it's not a live thing, because we attended the same session every afternoon, and every single one of them were vastly different depending on where the crowd was going and where the interest was. And I think that drove also a lot of our lunch and our post, let's just say not creepy, our hot tub debrief sessions at the end of the
sounds creepy. Hot tub debrief.
It does. Our dinner
I'd like
time,
to mention that we were all wearing our pants.
Swimsuits.
At no point did the briefs come off.
No.
We did not debrief.
No, not at all. So, but the spontaneity of those roundtables, which is how they're structured on purpose. We just took a lot of information, both from a marketing standpoint and where the industry is going standpoint. And I'm with you. I didn't get to see as many of these education things as I wanted to. I had all kinds of ones lined up, and I'm with you, Jeff. I got, hey, your session is starting. I'm like, well, crap, I'm in this class or I'm in this meeting and it's not going to go. But it highlights.
Okay.
Go, go, Chrissy, go. Yes.
No, it's okay. I just want to finish like the couple that we're going to, and then I want to get back to your original point of why you thought that it would have been worth it this year. It would have been just as good this year. So the other one that I went to was a digital marketing, and it's not even worth talking about. So it was all about all the stuff that about having a great, having a good website and how to influence, how to sell things, blah, blah, blah. They lost me when they started dissing Tire Rack, because when you look at the ad for Tire Rack, the Google ad, it adds all these things that Tire Rack does. It is not a lie. But then when you get to the front page of Tire Rack, those things are not presented there.
Like suspension and brakes and things.
They are presented on the front page, but then they say next day delivery and the what do you call it? The wizard that tells you what kind of tire that you should be
yeah.
getting. That's what the Google ad says. When you get to the page, it says suspension parts. It says call
like
somebody.
It doesn't lead you. Like the words on the ad don't lead you to a space on the website.
But I'm like, but you're talking about Tire Rack to a bunch of people that are industry leaders that probably buy all of their tires from Tire Rack, and it's
know
not
how
a
to
lie.
use the gosh darn website.
It's not a lie. It's like, sure, does that page not say right up front, next day delivery? Like, maybe it doesn't say it on the top, but once you get there, it's going to give it to you. Anyway, I was like, I'm done with you. I'm out.
Tire Rack is an easy to use website, even if you've never really done anything with it. Like you
Yeah.
click on tires.
I said that to like friends all the time who don't know anything.
Absolutely. But if you're using that as your example in digital marketing, that this is a bad website, I'm like, screw you, I'm out. And he read off of a line the whole time.
Yeah. And should anyone from Tire Rack be listening, not only are we huge supporters.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Every time I've been on my old Mercedes, the 430 CLK, staggered wheels, and I had ordered a set of tires from it. Within 5 minutes of placing my order, I received a phone call from Tire Rack. Hey, Mr. Ward, saw your order come through here. But as I understand it, you ordered 2 different sizes of tires. Yes. Okay. Well, let's walk through, because I know that the wheels on your CLK are staggered, and they wanted to make sure before they clicked OK. So Tire Rack, you're absolutely right. Them dissing Tire Rack, clearly they've never dealt with a Tire Rack website, because they are very interactive, and they will call you in meet space to make sure that what you want is what you want. Did you buy Chrissy's mom's Coney shocks from Tire Rack, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
all kinds of stuff. From
all
Tire
of
Rack.
them. Yeah, no, I'm not dissing. I'm just mad
you're
that
dissing the class because they dissed Tire Rack because they were looking at it 2-dimensionally instead of actually interacting with Tire Rack.
Yes.
Had that been an in-person panel, I think that conversation absolutely would have gone differently. You are 100% correct. And so, and I get it. It's Corona, and there's things that have got to change. But we're going to see a lot of these changes, and there's some people that are just going on a checklist mentality of do X, do Y, do Z, get banana, and other companies and panels that are deliberately interfacing. And I want to talk about this here in a bit as we get down into the classes, because you had Micro and Tanner Faust that are clearly comfortable with this medium, and it was clear in their presentation, their comfort with this, their camera angles, for Pete's sakes, their volume displays. And then there are people that are just like, oh, well, I'll do a sales presentation online just like I would do in front of a group of captive people in the basement of a Hyatt. And it's not going to work, man. You've got to go on this. The classes, which last year when we attend SEMA, and feel free to correct me if I get this wrong, was the part that we weren't expecting to get
absolutely
as much from. And we got so much
stuff out of their classes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally.
Yeah. So Chrissy, you've got a whole lot on these classes because you got to do a lot more than I did.
Well, yeah. I mean, I did a quick pros and cons. I think obviously the pros were that they appeared to be pre-taped. So I think I could have gone back and watched them. So Jeff, I don't think you tried, but I think you could have said watch, which was an option on the ones that were already happened. Did you say that you couldn't go back and talk to them in the space?
Could be,
but
absolutely.
That wasn't really wasn't evident. So yeah, and so some of them took advantages of being somewhere cool. So that's where I thought was good. And the cons, obviously not nearly as many topics as we hoped or liked. You know, there were I think 25, something said 25 classes, and a bunch of them were, you know, how to organize your garage if you're a garage, or, you know,
how to use our new body mending tool.
So that's what they were.
Yeah.
Right. So they were not anything that was going to be, nothing was even close to applicable to the media, which we had a whole bunch more courses last year that we did, and also nothing to racing or parts or something that we thought that was going to be closer to racing and or sports cars. So that would be they're my pros and cons. Let's move on to products.
Well, before we get,
oh, no, or not.
I'm sorry, but you're like, you had your digital people, the stuff that we watched with the Optum batteries, Tanner and Micro. And I think you and I were texting back and forth as kind of it was happening. Like Micro, he's a podcaster and he's been doing media for years. He started
TV
as a voiceover guy. Right. But when he's doing his interviews, his camera is down at the end of his desk. So he's kind of leaned back and he's talking into his microphone, but he's not looking at his computer screen. I thought that was brilliant. It was much more approachable. The camera was an up angle, and their presence in the same thing with Tanner. They were in front of that Unimog that the guy who owns
Nice.
Optima batteries, and they're just chatting, and it was excellent, as opposed to the, now we will look about the website at Tire. That is not how you're going to do that. The stage setup, whoever set up the stage when Micro was interviewing Cletus and Vaughn Griffin, that person should be fired immediately. Vaughn Griffin and Cletus were sharing a set of earbuds and staring into a laptop.
And then they were like kind of in the sun, like they were in like the shade of where the sun was.
Yes.
And it was kind of hard to see them.
Yeah,
And
Cletus
both
only
of
has
them.
like 2 million YouTube followers. Like they
Both
could have
of-
just given him a camera and said, "Hey man, make this cool."
Right. And Vaughn Griffin is also extremely comfortable, and he's very capable in digital media, and they know how to make this stuff work. And you stuff them into that setup, that's just garbage. Even Mike Rowe made fun of the fact that they were both sharing a set of iPhone earbuds. MagnaFlow sets up a podcast booth every year at SEMA.
Yep.
That they do it in Meat Space, and they lease it out to Smoking Tire will be there, all these different people. So they understand all of this. How hard would it have been to get, or you literally walk up to Vaughn or Cletus and go, "Hey guys, how should we set this up?" And they screwed that all up. Chrissy.
I'm good. It
Okay.
sucked.
By the way,
We're
we're
gonna
not
talk
saying
about-
SEMA sucked. We're saying the education did not
Yeah.
deliver.
It did not deliver.
Which is a shame, because that was a high point for us last year.
That's
So-
where I'm going.
And they had expertise to really leverage that into something dynamic. And I don't think SEMA failed, and I definitely don't think the guest failed. I think somewhere in the interface, whoever was setting up these studios, when you look at Tanner and Mike Rowe versus the other setups, someone in there just was not getting the memo. So
Cool.
There's a lot of things I could have done better.
Yeah.
So let's
Let's
talk
talk
about
about the products, because that's what
stuff,
SEMA's all about.
because there's so much good stuff at SEMA.
so much.
And that's what I think what also appeals to a lot of our listeners is, what is the stuff at SEMA that might actually appeal to me? So here's some stuff. Tremec has a new TKX transmission. This replaces their old TKO. This is a 5-speed transmission, 600 foot-pound torque rating, 8,000 RPM rating. Comes in Ford and GM patterns. Apparently has a more compact case than previously, so it fits in tighter locations. Has 3 different shifter locations built into this thing, so you can put the shifter kind of wherever you want it to fit your particular swap. And for $3,000, this seems like a really fair price for a sturdy transmission that can go at a whole bunch of different applications. Like, I think this is great, Jeff.
I like all the things.
There might be a theme here, because I think Chris and I both looked at a lot of swap stuff. I wonder why.
Well, I just looked at what I thought might appeal. I thought they looked what might appeal to our listeners, right?
Yes.
And if you're trying to get a more powerful engine swapped into your car in a rear drive setup, like, your options were find an old T5. Those are all rated for, like, those are all on cars that were 220, 250 horsepower, not a lot. You can find a T56, which are either kind of hard to find or expensive, or both, like, to get the right pattern. You can get a new Tremec 6060, which is big money, and it's huge.
Yes.
This seems like a nice
Yes.
compromise.
And expensive.
Yeah. This seems like a nice compromise all around, and it's got good specs, so that should be good. Next thing, the hose ease. Now this is great. It's so simple.
But
It's a
please make
curved-
sure that this is what kind of hose are we talking about here?
HOZEEZ garden hose.
Garden
Check
hose.
out
Okay, just making sure what we're talking
So
about.
this is a curved bit of plastic that
Okay.
goes between your tire and the driveway. So when you're washing your car and you're pulling the hose around, it doesn't get stuck between the tire.
Oh my
and the
God, we need
driveway,
this.
right? I know Jeff is like, what,
I saw
what are
the
you talking
video
about?
and fell in love with
What's
this.
the
And
problem?
What?
it was good. I was gonna add it, and I thought the 3 of you would make fun of me for something.
Oh my
so
God, I
silly.
think this is amazing.
no, this is
It's
great.
brilliant. It really is.
There's actually a bunch of knockoffs, like cheap versions of this on Amazon. So
That's
whatever.
happening. I know what you're
Great.
getting in your stocking this
Yeah,
year.
great stocking stuffer for people in your family who actually wash their
Add
cars.
to
So
cart.
don't give one to Jeff.
No.
It'll just get lost in the abyss of his garage.
And we're gonna save this for our annual Christmas.
Googling it
episode.
right
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
So
amazing.
no.
you
Don't
just click the
Google it.
link.
Click the link in our show notes. Pay
Oh,
attention.
duh! I
right
could have
there.
done that.
Uh-huh. All right. Another one I saw that was interesting is the stuff that AEM is doing right now. Now, back in
Yeah.
the day, AEM started with cold air intakes, and they made the best cold air intakes for Hondas. Like I had one in my Integra GSR in 1999, and the thing was great. And they moved on to engine management systems, for standalone stuff, and apparently it's excellent. They're getting into the EV game now. So, an example, they call it the EV PDU-8. It's a solution for controlling switch devices like cooling fans, headlight, brake lights, turn signals, windshield wipers, all the stuff you have when you're trying to convert a car to an EV, but you still got to have all that crap that works. This thing does that. And you can actually link 8 of them together on a CAN bus system that's all part of this for 64 potential available channels. So you can run all your power windows and this and that and everything you could possibly want to run in the EV off the big battery, all done like this. And it's a ready to go solution. That seems like a really great way to go if you're trying to do that kind of conversion.
And we talked about that Chevy Bolt crate system for EVs that they're going on to. And I'd actually,
that they put in the Blazer.
Yep.
Right. And I wrote that down in my list of things that I found interesting in SEMA, and I didn't get a chance to put in the show notes. Exactly. So LS is right now the swap of choice. Ford just basically made the GT500 motor a crate motor, and Dodge is doing the same thing with the Hellcat. EVs are now crate systems, and you are going to start seeing a lot of home-built EV conversions, and this is the thing that keeps your car normal after you do something like that.
Yeah, they're clunky still. Like the Bolt one that they put in the Blazer is the Bolt battery pack that very clearly was designed to live under the floor of a car, like under the back seat and everything, right? Just sitting in the cargo area of the Blazer. But it's like that for a reason, is GM spent a lot of time and effort figuring out like the cooling, like the temperature control of the battery bank. And just by leaving it together makes that easier. And they're just trying to show that it works. So I think this is still kind of in its infancy. But 10 years from now, I think it will make a lot more sense. And also, once people do a better job of hacking Tesla stuff, like every crashed Model 3 has an entire power unit in the back.
Yeah.
That whole system can replace like a rear suspension in something, and that will make a lot more sense than trying to put a front electric motor to a transmission to a live axle kind of thing, when you could replace the entire unit with a Tesla kind of drive unit, battery packs up front, things like that. We'll see where it goes.
And they also have the whole cooling system and everything.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the PDU-8, because I went to the new product awards. Not went to, I should say. I checked the website. And the new product awards, and that actually won the best new performance racing product of all of SEMA 2020. So, and I put down a bunch of stuff that also won some best of, and some of them that came in second place. And imagine that some of them are very LS swapped based kind of deal. One of the things that I saw, the runner up in the street rod category, was the Speedway Motors Universal LS Swap Radiator Kit.
Yes.
So this is like a radiator that you can put in front of your LS and whatever the hell you're building it in. And it has like the proper inlets and the proper outlets. And it is $200. They said they are tired of seeing expensive stuff. And if you know what you're building and you mass build it, you don't need to build it crazy. So it's literally $209, and it is perfect built for all of your LS swap needs.
It has 2 reviews. It must be good.
It's brand new.
Well, for $200, I'll take my chances.
Yeah.
Because that is, I am deep into the LS swap, all the things, and I have an unused Volvo wagon right now. That's good to know.
Yeah. So the other thing that I saw, like it was like a suggested product when I was looking at the Speedway Motors LS swap radiator. It's an LS swap swivel water pump outlet. So when you're putting it into something weird and you need the water pump to point to a different place, you can just literally swivel it.
I turned ours backwards tonight, so it actually points the direction we need it more or less now.
Well, ish, exactly. If we had the swivel one, we could point exactly where we need. All right,
Yep.
Chris, I put a link in here. You're our tire guide. I think it was the first place in truck and trail. I don't know why they go into what categories they go, and this didn't go into tire category, but it's the cerebrum sensor. So it's a little puck, and you glue it to the inside of your tire, and it acts as like your TPMS. So you can now get rid of your TPMS, but it also monitors tread depth, tire temperature, your alignment, how much energy you're saving or not saving because your tires are misinflated or misaligned, and it all goes to your phone. And I said, this thing is fantastic. It wasn't even that much money. I think it was like $300 for the whole 4 setup.
Huh.
But I was like, this is a lot of tech for tires that most people just don't. Like I couldn't really find like the killer app for this, or maybe it's in the trucks. Maybe
I
it's
don't
because of
see
giant
it.
truck.
Yeah, I don't see it showing up in Lemons right away, but I bet your spindier endurance series, your WRLs and your AERs, this is a worthwhile thing. You've got an old phone sitting around, you Bluetooth it to these devices, and you're monitoring tire wear in real time. And then it probably gives you real-time data for how your alignments are working.
Yeah. I mean, if we pulled in, all right, Jeff, what's my temperature and pressure? And look at, all right, there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty.
It doesn't give temperature
for
like
the 4 of them.
across the
Yeah,
like
but just
across the tread,
still,
which is what we would need.
it'll give you an indicator if something's wrong, like when you get a wire in your sidewall.
True, absolutely true.
Or you hit like a random wheel that
Honestly,
that fell off of a Jetta.
For
And you
Or if
don't
that
know if
wheel
your
falls
tire-
off. You
You don't know if your tire got shredded.
Would they get that error, like wheel gone? Like what is it?
For $300, I mean, that really isn't that much more than 4 TPMSs.
Well, so I also,
Yeah.
if it does anything with the tread, I'm thinking of when old CMP, when it used to literally come down to cords on some wheels, that might actually not be bad. If you know that it's getting that low, you could potentially realize you were getting to cords before the person would know it.
Yes.
Or true 24-hour races or 14-hour races. Absolutely.
Yeah. My big question is, once a set of tires is gone, can you unglue it and glue it in a new set?
They say that the base housings can be purchased separately, so you can use them in different tires.
Good. Cool.
Oh yeah, dog.
I figured that. I just didn't know what it was going to cost. But anyway, I thought that was really cool, especially because it goes right to your phone. So on my Christmas list this year is a new radar detector, and the winning.
Do not pass go.
Exactly.
Do not collect $200. Buy a Valentine one. They just finally actually really updated it for the first time.
I am definitely aware of that, but I'm going to
I know
plug
that's
the
what you're gonna
SEMA
say,
winner
but-
anyway, because this is the SEMA show.
Sorry. I'll go to the Christmas show for the rest of it.
Yes, that'll be on the Christmas show. So I didn't know this, but Escort actually bought out Cobra, and they're now a new company called Cedar Electronics, and their flagship is the winner of the Best Mobile Electronic. It is the Escort Redline 360C, because it seems that Valentine has lost the patent on the little arrows, so now all of the good radar detectors from every company have the arrows. But they are also now, they don't really talk about distance. I mean, they all say, oh, superb distance, but really the selling points these days are the filtering, and the filtering of everybody's cruise control and every because it used to be the only people out there that had radar were the cops. Now every frickin' Blazer and Lincoln now has its own adaptive cruise control system, which is putting out low levels of radar. So all the talk about why your new radar detector is good seems to be about connecting to the databases of false signals and filtering out the radars from the crash avoidance stuff.
I'd like to point out that at least 25% of this podcast is highly interested in that, say, like, because I travel across flat expanses of land.
You know whose car is already hardwired for a V1?
Every time I put my old school Escort up there, I am reminded that I just need to suck it up and buy a Valentine. I'm hoping they did not change their wiring interface because I absolutely want to do that and then wire it into my phone.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Probably
and
not.
because the new V1 is not called the V2, it's called the V1 second, right?
Yeah, something like that.
It's very bizarre. Anyway, Chrissy, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, I was like, nothing. I thought I was done with talking. No, and this we
It's
kind of
right
already.
down there in the doodly doo.
I had not
notes.
looked in the.
No.
doodly-doo.
Those are not. Those are not.
Those not the
doodly-doo.
doodly-doo.
Doodly
Okay.
only exist on YouTube.
Look
Sorry.
for the pink. There.
Got it.
Why are you? Anyway, go on.
Did anybody look at the builds? I mean, we talked about this a little bit already,
Yes,
so
we
that's why I
did, we
wanted
did.
to make sure,
We
like,
did.
we didn't really need to talk about this again. But I looked at some of them. I don't know if I was in Battle of the Builders, and this was on early on in the week, but there was only a few cars per each category. So, and there was a couple of them that had videos. A couple of them had 15 or 20 stills, and I think some of them I think we could have like put our name in, and maybe would have done pretty well. Who knows?
Yeah, I
Fair.
think the Battle of the Builds was cool, and I already would mention the RX. I thought that was crazy, and there was a lot of stuff. I have some general vibes from looking at a lot of the builds, and these are the show vibes. So I'll say this, as an aside. What we really enjoyed was the random booth cars more than the show builds. Because every car at SEMA has a car. Every booth at SEMA has a car in Meat Space SEMA. So we would like randomly show up to like the new chrome plating spray paint, and there was like a chrome plated MGTD that I thought was awesome. And the what was it, like a super snipe with a Cadillac motor in
The
it.
Simca. Yeah.
Simca. It was a Simca. All of this stuff.
Soggy,
So,
are you listening?
yes.
Randy, who just bought Soggy Simca.
Yeah, I mean, like there
No.
was like in somebody's booth that had nothing to do with anything, like Magnus Walker 914 was in it, and like that diesel crate swap in the Scout 2, like those weren't built as show cars; those were built as like product placement mules, and I actually thought they were the best part of the show. So I did look at the show cars, and I will give you my vibe. Color matched wheels are a big thing right now. Don't know why.
Black on black, white on white.
Well, yeah, blue on blue, green on green. Like if you have
or the pink on pink is a big deal. Yeah,
yeah, like if you are, it used to be that your wheels needed to be black, and before that your wheels needed to be chrome. Now your wheels kind of need to be the same color as the car, and painted.
So we're back to 1988 when you get the white wheels with your white Mustang GT. You were
rolling in my 5.0, got my rag top down so my hair can
and if you're spending thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on a turquoise paint job on your giant Plymouth Belvedere, you're also going to shoot those wheels with the same aqua blue. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. LS swaps and the Mopar, some are doing Elephants, some are doing Demon Red Eye motors. Those seem to be the swap that everybody uses. I did see the 1.4 rotor car, so that was cool.
It's interesting though, because the LS swap all the things has built a market that previously didn't exist. Usually everybody could put a small block Chevy in anything, but now all of the OEMs are following suit. Ford now has a crate motor.
Yep.
That comes with the wiring.
Mention that. Yep.
Dodge obviously has the same thing, but going all the way back to our electric swaps, I think you're going to, with the notion of a crate electric motor and everything that Chris was talking about, being able to swap out the entire rear suspension or something like that. I think that is an unexplored market that you're going to see exploited in years to come, especially with all of the support products that are coming out for it. But again, LS swap all the things because I've driven way too many LS swapped cars this year, but they've built the playbook, and you can take that playbook and apply it to powertrain of your choice now.
Yep. Well, and
By the way, The tire sensor replacement mount things are $17. I've been
Oh, that's
poking
not
around
bad.
that website for a while. Yeah.
I like that. But I quickly Googled and went to the Dodge performance for $9,960. You can get a 6.4 liter. That's a 392 Hemi engine with 485 horsepower and 475 torque. Why wouldn't you? You know, for 20,000. You could get the 6.2 liter Hellcat, the Hellcrate.
Yeah. Or you start poking around Copart like most of our audience will do, and you start finding the invariably wrecked 392 Challengers and Chargers, TRXs, and then you just buy the parts that were destroyed in the accident that you need, the CPU, the transmissions, all this stuff.
Oh, I'm all about recycling.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you're doing a SEMA build, you're not throwing in a junkyard motor.
No, but our audience, on the other hand, absolutely. Will throw it.
Yep.
Junkyard motor, I'll take 2 because I'm going to need one Saturday night.
That's why we bought 2 4.8.
No, and we're not going to use the second one for a very long time.
I hope not.
They were only $150. I couldn't resist.
I don't know who's going to put it in.
Yes.
Not us.
Honestly, if we needed to go faster, would we turbocharge it or we 6 liter?
Stop talking about this. Stop talking about this. Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
We didn't get it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to remove that thing like ever. So
No,
none of y'all better
neither do
blow it
I.
up.
I don't want to take it out. Shift early, everybody.
Yep,
So I feel like did Chrissy, did you get everything? Because Chrissy, you were the most in tune with SEMA this year. No, of the 4 of us, you were in. I was 70% in, but I feel like you were the most invested.
I tried to catch up.
I was concerned that we had a show coming up about this and we needed to do stuff with it. Also,
so
because
props to Chrissy for giving a crap about the podcast.
Sometimes, so I was more concerned that, I know we wanted to have a show. We had such a good time last year. We learned stuff. We sprinted up and down the halls. Oh my gosh, these people are giving away free gloves. Go, go, go. And then we're like, wait, where'd you get that free beer? Oh, go over there. And like, every once in a while we sat on the side, like next to a wall and was like, whoa. We're tired.
So tired.
It was a lot.
All right.
No, but we saw a lot of products that we loved, and we ended up buying. Chris bought the chapstick.
Yes.
Loctite chapstick.
Loctite chapstick.
Jeff, you were standing in the Harbor Freight toolboxes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And
the last thing we saw.
We even went and saw like all of the East Asian manufacturers of lighting and body.
Xinjiang Purple Light Company.
Yes.
That's what Chris missed so much.
The Chinese tire companies. But I actually bought the gear wrench easy outs.
Yeah.
The nut things.
Yeah.
I didn't buy them at the show.
Where are they now?
They're in my garage where they belong.
All right.
Where would they be?
I've got a notebook full of parts that we'll talk about for our Christmas gift giving show, but I feel like I already know the answer to this question. Right now, if you type in SEMA 2020, if you go to the SEMAshow.com, they're done. They've shut it down and they're talking about 2021. So are we going next year if they do it in Meat Space? Well, you know what? Period. No, whatever the outcome, are we going to SEMA next year? I know we really want to do PRI.
I want to do PRI.
I am all about PRI because that is our demographic. But SEMA, are we doing it?
I would do SEMA absolutely again. The problem is that I would rather do PRI and I would not have enough vacation time unless somebody out there wants to start sponsoring this and this can become more of my job. I have to day job that I actually have to still attend every now and then.
Well, no matter what, we can have our SEMA correspondent who is local attend. Yeah.
But I think part of the success of last year was us being able to sit around the dining room table and talk about everything that you guys involve. So, all right. So Jeff, I get it. You've got limited vacation time. You'll focus on PRI, which is not the wrong answer. Chrissy, because you guys are a package deal. Do I do it or do I don't? Or do I just do it for me?
I was planning on having this be an off year for SEMA from us and do PRI instead, and maybe we'll just follow that kind of plan. But it's a year in advance. I have no clue. Who knows what's going to happen? 1 year ago, this certainly wasn't what we expected right now. So
Fact.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
If it's not in meat space, I will go because it doesn't take any time to do so. And as long as I can log in during the day and take an hour instead of sitting on a Zoom meeting, or while I'm sitting on a Zoom meeting, watch something else or look something else, that's not hard.
All right. So there you have it, listeners. Our SEMA 2021 coverage will be all mental all the time.
Or something happens and I can get both time off because I love SEMA. I actually love SEMA. I love talking to the mom and pop tool places.
oh
I
yeah,
love
the strap
talking
people.
to yeah, absolutely. There are so many cool things that I learned at SEMA. I mean, look, I literally right here, here's the pile of stuff that I want to buy that I picked up at SEMA that I
Mhm. Well, and
But
how
it's
much
great.
how much time did we end up talking to Bill Strong and his new marketing director? And
Yeah.
so
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Or we sat down with a guy that runs Hondata who gave us a really clear idea of
Yes.
what they're doing with Civic Type R's and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were in the Sparco booth talking about seats for an hour. Exactly. There's
Yeah.
Chrissy showing her picture of her because we were actively shopping. And
Yeah, because we were like, oh, we like that one.
and
and
then we
then-
bought that one.
yes,
It's
we did.
Goldilocks.
And what was great about that is, because it's SEMA, they don't send the junior varsity marketing guys. They send your top product knowledge folks, and the ones you run into the booth, they know their feces. Chrissy.
Also, I was just thinking about when you were talking about sales. That's the other good thing about SEMA is that there was no pressure. There was, you want to talk to people. There was no like, you must buy this now, or what do you think about this? Or there was nobody standing in the aisle that said, hey, come talk to me.
Come to my booth and look at
Half
my
the-
Ling Long
Half the
tire.
time we were going, right? Half the time we were trying to get a hold of people when we were at Bilstein or Coney or something. And Chris wanted to talk to the person actually about suspension setup. I'm pretty sure it was suspension. And you could not, they were talking to people and you were like, hi, I want to talk to somebody. And they're like, yeah, nobody's available.
They were actually like doing deals as opposed to just
Yeah.
talking.
Oh, and but there was things like that, like you had to like sometimes seek people out to talk to them, and they didn't always just try to take you for everything.
There were a lot of grubby people there who were like, "Give me stuff to give out. Your give out." And
Sure.
that was a bit of a letdown. Like this supposed to be a professional show. Why is people like, "Hi, give me something from your booth. Give me a."
Because I have a
need
body
a
shop and
t-shirt,
I
not a
brought
sticker.
somebody with me, and that's
Yeah, that was a bit of there was a bit of that chattel in the way that we might not have at a PRI. I think.
yeah. The sticker collectors just walk up,
Yes.
grab stuff, and leave. Yeah.
I'm right here. I'm literally right here, Chris. That stings a little. I'm just saying.
We did that with a couple things, like gloves.
But at the same time, we buy a lot of gloves, so we are absolutely market for gloves. All right, I digress. So then I'm going to go ahead and apply for our press credentials and how it shakes out. It might just be me and Jeff wandering through, but I now will have effective vacation time, so I'm not missing SEMA if it's in meat space. So I apologize in advance. 10 months from now or 12 months from now, it might be a little bit lamer, the coverage.
All right.
Let's move on to
On
the
the spot with Mental Ward.
if listeners, if you have an opportunity, check out our Facebook page. Now, I also posted this on the Garage Heroes in Training in the City Racers Lounge. It is a video from a buddy of mine, Mike. He was running the classic or the historic finals at COTA this week. And he posted the video with the exact same question I'm going to post to you, the listeners, and also my fellow podcast hosts. He is driving a just absolutely beautiful Datsun Roadster that him and his brother have worked very hard on. They own a solar power company in California. They are avid vintage racers, and they did all of our fuel stops for the 25 hours of Thunderhill effort that we did last year, 2019. And our fuel stops, every single one of them, this was their first time only doing it, every single one of them, we had the car out in less than 3 minutes. So good on him. I posted the video. He is running third. The number 2 car is in front of him. He knows that they are both out of tires. And if you watch the video, you can even see the 240Z in front of him wobble a little bit coming out of a couple of corners. It's the next to last thing. He makes a run to try and pass him. So my question to our racer listeners is, you've got a guaranteed spot on the podium. Or do you hold on to that spot? Or do you make the effort, try for a higher place? Vintage racing requires that you keep at least a car bubble around all of the other cars for obvious reasons. So there was never any danger. There was no flood stain racing nonsense going on there. It was good, clean racing. So do you take the shot, or do you hold on to your podium? Now, I posted this for our listeners. Alex Levinson threw on there, big surprise. You got to push the envelope to the shipper here. Eventually, one of those is going to stick, and you will just feel a moment that very few people ever get to feel. On a scale of HALP to adult certified, he gets 3 deflated dildo snaps in the shape of a Z for Zero, because in the film, he makes a shot. He makes a run at it, spins, ends up settling for 4th. Matt F. said, went out giving it his all. I commend the effort. Derek Steinkamp, the only other person on planet Earth to run 2 24-hour races in one day, said, in this case, the driver had no chance. He got walked in the run-up to where he spun. Why did he think that late braking was somehow going to let him get the advantage on the final drag to the checker? My fellow podcast host, what do you think?
So I watched this video, and I thought, what is he doing? Like, I didn't think the pass was going to be successful, not because he was going to crash, but because he was just going to lose it on the far side. So he was not going to make it stick. Do you go for it? Sure. Do you get butthurt when you don't keep it? Sure. But you're racing, so you do it.
To note, he did not get butthurt. He waved.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's what I said. Spinning is never the right thing to do. But going for it's not a problem.
Chrissy.
I agree with Jeff. The other thought is just like 3rd or 4th. It's still not getting
Still not
you.
first.
No, it's not first, right? Like, and it's not, and you weren't that close. I don't know. Whatever. I feel like your third is great. 4th is fine too. You're not getting nickel. You're not getting any more hundreds of dollars because you went for it. I also agree that spinning is not the right answer. Something worse could have happened. So, I mean, if you went further off and slid and whatever, I mean, and things happen like that. So I would have said it's not worth the effort, really. And especially if you weren't really confident you were going to make the pass, then no, I don't know that I would have gone for it. That's what I'm going to say.
I don't
I didn't
blame
watch the
anybody.
video, but I will say, we are racing drivers. We are competing. We are
Yeah.
competing to win. And if you no longer go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver.
I didn't think it was a gap. That's my problem.
Wasn't a gap.
But he did not endanger anything. That's why I said I have no problem with him going for it. It was not a dive bomb. It was not anything like that. He just overcooked it a little, whatever. No big deal.
Give it your best shot.
Yeah.
If it works,
There's
great.
nothing wrong with dragging down the straight to the finish line.
Right. And Coda is a Formula One track, so the runoffs are all paved. Yeah. So, and we've had those situations where someone gets a little too red misty, and this one, there was no danger to cars or drivers. So, all right, all right. So Chris and I are in the same boat, and I think Jeff and Chrissy would have gone with, So, all right. So we're split 50-50. Listeners, check out our Facebook page, look at the video, and if you get a chance, give us a comment, or come out to a Vera race this year. They're going to be doing the Vera University in January at Buttonwillow, like they do every year. Worth coming out. I'll be happy to be your instructor. If you're
You
on the
don't
West
have to. Don't threaten them.
No, yeah, it's
Don't
Don't
threaten
try, yeah, it's true. You don't have to have me. You can have a good instructor as well. Buttonwillow is a great track.
But
It's
none with
very
this good
dusty,
hair.
but it's a fun track.
Do we know what we're doing next week for the show?
We could do our Thanksgiving episode.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right.
Maybe.
So thank you for downloading us. Thank you for joining us if you're watching on YouTube. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe or hit the button right
The
there.
doodly do.
Oh, no, the doodly do is
Doodly
later.
do is down there.
So-
Oh, sorry.
right here.
If you do like us, subscribe, go to YouTube, or go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, or right down there in the doodly do something for about us. Talk to us in the doodly do, or on the iTunes.
Just keep
Those are the only
going.
two people. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Okay. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com, or text mental. Yes, I might look at it too. 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny SEMA side up. Unless there are no shiny SEMA sides, then just keep the wheels down. And we ran out of music.